Hello, everybody. Today, on this forum of Symposium IAS, we are starting a new program, a program on current affairs called News Rewind. And this would be a weekly current affairs program. 1 week's news would be assimilated in the form of questions that you can see on the board. And these objective type questions would be fruitful for answering your preliminary examination. The explanation of that question can be fruitful for answering your mains examination. Every question would be properly answered with explanation. So let's start that weekly program of News Rewind today. Now let's see the first question which have been drafted. Now the first question connects to the present conflict going on in West Asia, and the question is: consider the following statements. Bab el-Mandeb separates Yemen from East Africa. Bab el-Mandeb connects Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden. Third statement is Red Sea is called as the gate of grief or the gate of tears, and Houthi rebels have attacked container ships in Bab el-Mandeb. Now all these statements are correct, only one. And that statement which is incorrect is your third statement, because Red Sea is not called as the gate of grief or the gate of tears. It is Bab el-Mandeb itself which is called as the gate of grief or the gate of tears. As far as the Houthi rebels are concerned, Houthi rebels are political and military organization, Shia organization supported by Iran in Yemen, and they are a part of the axis of resistance which Iran has created. We'll discuss that. But let's go on and discuss the second question. And you can see that on the map, I have demonstrated where is Bab el-Mandeb. It's the Red Sea, it's the Gulf of Aden. Here is the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. And this also is demarcating the Arab world from East Africa as such. So this is Bab el-Mandeb. Let's see the next question. The next question is: Shebaa Farms territory is a dispute between which one of the following states? Jordan and Syria. Second is Syria and Lebanon. And third is Turkey and Syria. And fourth one is Israel and Lebanon. Now it's a dispute between Israel and Lebanon. Presently, Shebaa Farm is in the hands of Israel, in the control of Israel. And the Hezbollah, which is a Shia organization supported by Iran, and it's also part of the axis of resistance, is responsible for carrying out attacks against the Israeli forces in the Shebaa Farms. So that's in the southern Lebanon that this disputed region is present, but presently it is under the control of Israel. So the correct answer would be what? The correct answer would be D. Now let's see the fourth question. The fourth question is called as is Harad AlShabi, the Shia mobilization forces, operates in which one of the following countries? Options read like this: Iraq and Syria, Lebanon and Syria, Iraq and Iran, and Iraq and Jordan. Now Harad AlShabi is also the part of axis of resistance, and it operates in Iraq and Syria. Now it is carrying out attacks against the American forces in Iraq and Syria. Now it's a Shiite organization and is a part of axis of resistance of Iran. Now see the fourth question. Which one of the following statement related to axis of resistance is incorrect? Houthi rebels in Yemen trace their movement to a Zaidi revivalist group. Hezbollah was formed with the primary objective of ending occupation of Israel in South Lebanon. Hamas and Islamic Jihad are Palestinian wings of this axis. And Fateh Mion Brigade is an Afghan Shia militia to fight American forces in Iraq. Now the correct option is what? This is the correct option. That means this statement is incorrect, because Fateh Mion Brigade is definitely an Afghan Shia militia which consists of the Hazara Shias of Afghanistan. But this force is meant for supporting the Syrian government. in Syria, this force is supporting the Syrian government. And you know the reason. Why? Because Iran has a military alliance with the Assad regime of Syria. The Assad regime of Syria is supported because Assad himself is a Shiite. So Assad regime of Syria is supported by Iran, and Iran has always a military alliance with the Assad regime. So Fateh Brigade is for supporting the Assad regime in Syria. So this is the incorrect option as such. Let's see the axis of resistance. When we talk about the axis of resistance of Iran, it has many components. One such component is the Hezbollah, which is operating in Lebanon, south of Lebanon. Then Hamas and Islamic Jihad, they are the Palestinian wings of this axis of resistance. And Hamas and Islamic Jihad have their control over the Gaza Strip. Harad AlShabi is operating in Iraq and Syria. Fateh Brigade, just now we have discussed, is operating in Syria, and Houthi rebels are operating in Yemen. So all these organizations form what is called as axis of resistance. Remember that Iran has many enemies. Iran has enemy number one, that is US. And the reason for this is that before 1979, there was a very liberal regime in Iran, the Shah regime. But in 1979, and Shah regime was supported by US. So some political commentators can say what is the development which took place in Iran was mainly during the Shah regime, which was a liberal regime supported by US. But in 1979, the Iranian Revolution took place. And when the Iranian Revolution took place, the theocratic state of Iran was established. Theocratic state means the state which has its own religion. The theocratic state of Iran was established. Iran is a Shiite regime. More than 90% of people in Iran are Shias. And there's always a Shia-Sunni conflict. Now, what happened in 1979, that after the establishment of Ayatollah Khomeini's government, Ayatollah Khomeini regime, US was ousted. US oil companies were ousted because nationalization of oil companies in Iran took place. And this was the beginning of the rift between US and Iran. So it started from there onwards. Then we can see that Iran has enemies like Israel, because Iran says that Israel has no right to exist. It's a harsh statement. And Israel is against Iran because of its nuclear program. I remember way back, some years back, Iran was responsible for developing a computer virus called Stuxnet. It carried out cyber attack against Iran's nuclear program. And this Stuxnet virus was deliberately developed for hampering the Siemens machine, which was used in Iran's nuclear program, because Iran's nuclear program was supported by Germany and Siemens is a company of Germany. So that happened. Then Iran is also against the Sunni monarchies, because when the Iranian Revolution took place and the theocratic state of Iran was established, there were many enemies of Iran. One such enemy was US, definitely Israel, but the Sunni monarchies of the Arab world were also against Iran because of the Shia-Sunni conflict. There is a region which is called as a Shiite crescent, because in all these Sunni monarchies, we can see a sizable population of Shia is also present. So this forms what is called as the Shiite crescent. It is present in Kuwait, it is present in Bahrain, it is present in Saudi Arabia itself. So the rift between Shias and Sunni continues, and that is the reason why Sunni monarchies, Sunni Arab world has never come, they have never come openly for supporting Iran. So this is called as the axis of resistance. I hope that's clear. Let's see the next question. Now consider the following statements. Salt pans are ecologically important salt marshlands. They are used for salt cultivation. They act as holding pond and work as a sponge for absorbing rains. They are home to diverse fauna and flora. It's a question of environment. And recently, salt pans are in news. Why? See, all these statements are correct. So the correct option would be All the statements, all four. And salt pens are what? Salt pens are low-lying areas near shore. And these low-lying areas, they are helpful in mitigating the flooding in coastal regions. And recently it is in news. Why? Because the government of Maharashtra passed a resolution, and this resolution is for establishment of the Dharavi redevelopment plan, under which rental homes should be given, and this should be given on a lease. But for this purpose, the salt pens of Mumbai would be utilized. So that's why I have drafted the question that what is salt pans? Let's see the next question. Now, which one of the following statement is incorrect? Recently, ICMR stands for International Council for Medical, Indian Council for Medical Research, Mumbai unit has confirmed, not international, Indian Council for Medical Research has confirmed that polio case detected in Maharashtra was type 1 vaccine derived polio virus, and that's VDPV. VDPV cases can emerge when children are not properly immunized, and type 2 VDPV is an imported strain, and India was certified polio free by WHO in 2014. Now the incorrect option is what? The incorrect option is A, because this was not detected in Maharashtra, it was detected in Meghalaya. And type 2 and type 1 has been given, so from the question you can see. But do remember that vaccines are what? The traditional vaccination is nothing but a modified form of infectious agent which is endowed to the body, so that it does not harm the body in any way. But when the infectious agent would be invading the body, now, so the modified infectious agent which is present inside your body would be neutralizing them. This is how it works. So when we say vaccine derived polio virus, it is from the vaccination that this virus has been derived. VDPV. Let's see the next question. Now, this is also another question which pertains to West Asia conflict. The Bekaa Valley is a fertile region in western Lebanon known for its agriculture production. About 90% of Lebanon's wine comes from this valley. This valley is of strategic significance due to its proximity to Syrian border and Israel. And Litani and Orontes make, these are rivers, this valley fertile for production. Everything is correct, but the first statement is incorrect. And it's not in western Lebanon that the Bekaa Valley is present. It is present in eastern Lebanon. Remember that the government of Israel said that the people who are residing towards the south of Bekaa Valley, they should move out from their homes for the purpose of attacking this region, to attack Hezbollah. And Israel carried out an operation also for this purpose. That operation is continuing, which is called as Operation Northern Arrows. And that's why Bekaa Valley is in news. So remember that question on Bekaa Valley can be asked, because all these things which are in news, on these things questions can be easily framed. Let's see the 8th question. Consider the following statement and select the correct code. Monkeypox is transmitted through skin-to-skin contact, sexual contact, and due to interaction with affected person. Clade 2b variant of this disease is deadlier than Clade 1. Clade 1 is the version spreading in Congo. Code. Now, the correct code for this is what? What it seems for you. The correct code is 1 and 3. C. Because Clade 2 variant is not deadlier than Clade 1. In fact, Clade 1 is deadlier. Clade 1 virus, which is the version of this disease which is spreading in Congo right now. And the death rate of Clade 1 is 3%. Now, this is far more than the death rate of clade 2b, which spread in 2022, and that was 0.2%. So this is deadlier version than clade 2b, because clade 1 is the version which is spreading right now in Congo. So that is another thing. Another question. Let's discuss next question. Khilari, Red Kandhari, Devni, and Tharparkar are breeds of which one of the following animals? They are definitely the breeds of cows. But why? Why a question should be framed on this? Because the government of Maharashtra has launched a program, and this is called as Rajyamata Gaumata. Now, under this initiative, subsidy of rupees 50 would be given per animal. These are what? These are indigenous breeds of cows which are present in Maharashtra. Prominent is Khilari. Now, indigenous breeds of cows would be protected under this program. And we can see that rupees 50 per animal would be given for the care of these cows in the cattle shed, and this would be under the Rajyamata Gaumata program, which has been launched by the government of Maharashtra. Let's see the next question. Which one of the following statement is incorrect? There is no single Prakrit language, but the term refers to a group of Indo-Aryan languages closely associated. Jain Agamas and the Gatha Sapsati are in Ardhamagdi, a Prakrit dialect. Pali was a language of Theravada Buddhism, and although Buddhism spread elsewhere, Pali survived in India only. These are 4 statements, and you have to answer. What do you think? What should be the correct answer? Now, the correct answer is what? The correct answer is D. Because Buddhism spread elsewhere, and Pali also spread elsewhere. You can see Pali spread in Sri Lanka, it spread in Thailand, it spread in Myanmar, it spread in Laos, it spread in Cambodia. So all these countries Pali spread. And this definitely is a correct statement that there is no single Prakrit language, but the term refers to a group of Indo-Aryan languages closely associated. Prakrit was the language of masses, because the language of the elite during that time was Sanskrit. And Jain Agamas and Gatha Sapsati are in Ardhamagdi, a Prakrit dialect. That's true. Pali was a language of Theravada Buddhism. That's also true. And why this question can be asked? Because recently 5 languages, which include Pali, which include Prakrit, which include Bengali, which include also Assamese and Marathi. Now, these 5 languages have been added in the list of classical languages. The classical languages list earlier consisted of Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Odia, and Sanskrit. So these languages have been added in the classical languages list. That's why a question can be framed on this. Now, let's see the 11th question. Now, consider the following statements and select the correct code. The Chagos archipelago in the Indian Ocean consists of 58 islands. Diego Garcia is the largest island in this archipelago, and UK continues to exercise sovereign rights over Diego Garcia. Now, if you talk about Chagos definitely has 58 islands, and Diego Garcia is the largest. Now, Diego Garcia is the military base of not only US but also UK. And all these statements which are given pertaining to this is nothing but correct. When we talk about Chagos, we can see that Chagos was not inhabited till the end of the 18th century. But at the end of the 18th century, the French forces were responsible for bringing the Indians and the Africans. And this area was used for what? This area was used for coconut cultivation. So first of all, habitation started in this manner. Then in 1814, this territory, this area was seceded to the British. Now, in 1965, the British government was responsible for establishing the British Indian Ocean Territory in this area. And Chagos was a part of it. So, the biggest island of Chago is Diego Garcia. In 1974, US established its military base. And when US established its military base, then India reacted by saying that the Indian Ocean is going to become the cockpit of superpowers. So India was against the establishment of Diego Garcia. But if you look at Chagos, we can see this area, Chagos, away from Maldives also. Now it is situated midway between Suez and the Malaccan Strait. So midway. So it's strategically very important. Strategically very important. And in 1968, Chagos in 1965, when the British government established the British Indian Ocean Territory, it was attached to Mauritius for administrative purpose. But in 1968, when Mauritius became independent, Chagos was retained by British. It's a group of island, and Chagos were retained by British. 1974, US base was established in Diego Garcia. Now, the UK government has decided that it would be seceding Chagos Island to Mauritius, barring Diego Garcia, because no decision has been taken for Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia would be retained by UK and US as their military base. So you can see the location of Chagos. Let's see the next question. Now, the next question is, consider the following statements and select the correct code. The Energy Efficiency Hub was established in 2020 as successor for the International Partnership for Energy Efficiency Cooperation, in which India was a member. This is a true statement. India was a member of IPEEC. And the second statement is, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, the statutory agency, has been declared as the implementing agency for the hub on behalf of India. That's true, because the Union Cabinet has signed the letter of intent for joining this hub, and this would be the objective of joining this hub is for a sustainable future for India. And this is an international organization for cooperation in the field of energy efficiency. So both the statements are correct. Let's see the next question. Now, the next question pertains to diabetes. Consider the following statements. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition in which the immune system attacks and destroys the insulin producing beta cells of the pancreas. That's a correct statement. Type 1 diabetes has relied on insulin therapy for decades, and that's the main method through which it is contained. In type 2 diabetes, the insulin that is produced by the body is either insufficient or ineffective. That's also true. And type 2 diabetes is managed by taking oral drugs mainly. So all the four statements are correct. All of the four statements mentioned here are correct. But why we are framing a question on type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes? We are framing a question because last week we can see news was stem cell therapy, and stem cell therapy for curing the type 1 diabetes patient. And how? Because stem cells are what? Stem cells are pluripotent in nature. Pluripotent in nature means that they can differentiate into different types of cells. So pluripotency is their characteristic. And since pluripotency is their characteristic, we can see that research has been conducted, and stem cells would be now used for regenerating beta cells of the pancreas, which produces what? Which produces insulin. So type 1 diabetes can be cured. That's why a question has been framed on type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Let's look at another question. Who has written the famous work Seth Karyacha Asud, the whip of a farmer? The correct answer to that is, guess what? Jyotirao Phule. And why? Because we can see temporary flex consisting of the couplets of Jyotirao Phule from this work has been erected in the Nasik district recently, and a controversy was related to omission of some words from it. We won't be going into those controversy as such. And that's why I have drafted a question on this. Now, in news was also the nano diamonds, fluorescent nano diamonds. Which one of the following statement related to fluorescent nano diamonds is incorrect? FNDs are nanometric sized diamonds made of carbon nanoparticles. That's true, because nano in nanotechnology, carbon nanoparticles are used. They are produced at high temperature with high pressure process. That's true. FND do not blink when irradiated with for a long time. And fluorescence is the property of some materials to emit light of higher frequency when irradiated with light of low frequency. What do you think? It is in news. See, remember that when you talk about fluorescent nano diamonds, their fluorescence lifespan is a bit high. It's more than 10 nanoseconds. So they are considered to be better than quantum dots. They are non-toxic to living beings. They can ask you the application also. They can be used for microscopy. They can be used for imaging. They can be used for other purpose also. So for all these purposes, they can be used. And the incorrect statement is fluorescence is the property of some material to emit light of higher frequency. It is just the reverse as such, just the reverse. So this would be the incorrect statement. Now, which one of the following statement related to federalism is incorrect? Now, you can ask me that you are teaching current affairs and you are asking a question from polity. Let me relate it. Asymmetrical federalism is one in which some states and areas have more autonomy than others. US is an example of symmetrical federalism where all states enjoy the same set of powers and autonomy. Professor Harad AlShabi included India in the category of quasi-federation, and Granville Austin prefers to call India as cooperative federation. All questions are very good. Now see, if you talk about which is the incorrect answer, the incorrect answer is C, because it was not Professor Harad AlShabi who said that India is in the category of quasi-federation, but it was K.C. Weir who included India in the category of quasi-federation. Quasi-federation means what? That India is a more prominent unitary system with subsidiary federal setup rather than a federal setup with subsidiary unitary system. So that's called as quasi-federation. And I have drafted this question. Why? Because in news is what? In news is schedule 6. In news is schedule 5. And you can see that some states, some regions in India, some states in India have power, more autonomy than others, because Sonam Wangchuk, the climate activist, he has come from Ladakh to Delhi demanding Ladakh to be included in the 6th schedule so that the more powers can be given to Ladakh, the tribal population can be well protected. So in that context, this question has been given. So India can be also called as asymmetrical federalism. Asymmetrical federalism. Although India is what? India is nothing but a type of centripetal federalism. Centripetal means it was initially unitary. British government was unitary setup, where a federal structure, when it is formed, when a unitary structure transforms into federation and the provinces transforms into states, that kind of unitary structure with the residual power vested in the center, that kind of federation would be called as centripetal. So the federation that India has is very similar to the Canadian Federation. It can be called as centripetal. It can be called as asymmetrical federalism. It can be called as quasi-federalism. It can be called as cooperative federalism also. Clear? Now, let's see the next question. Now, what I have just said has been depicted in this question. Consider the following statements. The sixth schedule is applied to what are called as tribal areas in the states of Assam, Mizoram, Meghalaya and Nagaland. Although the incorrect is what? The incorrect statement is this only, because it's not Nagaland, but it is Tripura. It's not Nagaland, so this statement would be incorrect. Autonomous district councils of these areas have the power to make laws related to inheritance of property, divorce, marriage, land use, customs. That's definitely correct. And for all such matters, the laws of the state legislature will not be applicable in the tribal areas. That's also correct. But see, when you talk about the ADCs, Autonomous District Council of these areas, which consists of 30 members, max to max 4 members can be appointed by the governor, but the remaining would be elected. The laws which are passed would be approved by the governor, although definitely the laws of the state legislature will not be applicable in the tribal areas, but the laws which are passed should be approved by the governor. And as far as the Schedule 5 is concerned, this we have talked about 6 schedules. Schedule 5 is concerned. Schedule 5 talks about what? It talks about the scheduled areas, and 10 states in India have these areas where a tribal advisory council would be present, and they would be responsible for executing their functions as such. Now, let's see the next question. Which one of the following statement related to swallowtail butterfly is incorrect? IUCN has marked them as globally endangered. It was the news. IUCN has declared northeastern part of India as swallow-rich zone. Harvesting of citrus plants for medicinal purpose may be one of the reasons for their decline, and India is home to world's largest variety of butterfly. So there are 4 options. You have to select the incorrect option. Although the incorrect option is D, because maximum species of butterfly, not talking about swallowtail, maximum species of butterfly, 20% species of butterfly is present in Congo. That should have been here. But as far as the variety of swallowtail butterfly is concerned, there are 573 varieties, of which we can see 77 are present in India, and out of which 69 are present in northeast India. That's why it is called as swallow-rich zone. And definitely harvesting of citrus plants for medicinal purpose may be one of the reasons for the decline, because they feed upon these leaves of these plants only. Let's consider the last question as such. One more question for today. Genetic information stored. Yes, this is the question. MicroRNA are tiny molecules which play a crucial role in gene function. You can see that recently the Nobel Prize in the field of medicine has been conferred for microRNA. So microRNA are tiny molecules which play a crucial role in gene function. Which one of the following statements in this context is incorrect? Gene regulation by microRNA is conducted for all multicellular organisms, including human. Genetic information stored in DNA is copied to microRNA. MicroRNA directs cell to synthesize appropriate protein, and Victor Ambros and Gary Ruvkam enable development of microRNA vaccine for COVID, for which they were conferred Nobel Prize. Now tell me, which statement is incorrect? The statement which is incorrect is this. Sorry. D. This is the incorrect statement. Because as far as COVID vaccine is concerned, the two gentlemen, the two scientists who has conferred the Nobel Prize in the field of medicine in 2023 for enabling microRNA to develop in the form of COVID vaccine was David Weissman and Katalin Kariko. And this year's Nobel Prize in the field of medicine has been conferred to Victor Ambrose and Gary Ruvkun, and this is for their discovery of microRNA, and this is related to gene regulation. See, just remember one thing, that the genome of humans or any other animals, they have certain genetic information which needs to be translated into action. Now, this would be done with the help of proteins. So the genetic information gets translated into action with the help of protein. And improper functioning of protein can result in diseases. Here you can see the relevance of microRNA. This much for today. So every week we would be coming like this manner at the forum of Symposium IAS, discussing objective type questions, and the explanation can be at a lengthy scale also, including all nitty-gritties of the topic, so that the weekly current affairs can be covered in an interesting manner. If I come here with a PDF showing that these are the newsmakers of the week, these are the highlights of the week, nobody is going to see these kind of videos, because each and every forum, each and every institute has this kind of team. So let us do it in an innovative manner so that you can learn. So these 19 questions I have drafted for this week. Next week, maybe more questions will be drafted for you. And in an innovative manner, we would be carrying out the current affairs program. Thank you.